Hello, this is Angela from the website naturallivingalchemy.ca. Welcome to my channel. Have you been looking for a way to help balance your blood sugar? If so, then look no further than this blood sugar balancing vinegar recipe that I'm going to share with you today. And it has ingredients that you most likely already have in your cupboard. So, what are some signs that you could look for to show you that you might be experiencing low blood sugar or hypoglycemia? Well, these could include looking pale, shakiness or tremors, sweating, headaches, hunger or nausea. Maybe you're having an irregular or just really fast heartbeat, fatigue, restless nights, irritability, anxiety, and including emotional instability. Maybe you have problems concentrating, or you're feeling dizzy or lightheaded. Maybe you're even having some tingling pains in your lips, your tongue, or your cheeks. Those are all signs that you may have low blood sugar. Now, what about some signs if you're experiencing high blood sugar or a hyperglycemia? Well, those symptoms could include fatigue, frequent urination, increased thirst, headaches, blurred vision, nausea, vomiting, confusion, and tingling in your hands and in your feet. Now, both symptoms from both lists could definitely be pointing to other health concerns that might not be blood sugar related. So if you are experiencing those, just make sure that you're doing your due diligence and talking to your healthcare professionals just to make sure that there isn't any other underlying problems that need to be addressed. So we're going to keep in mind that I'm not a doctor, that none of what is on this channel is considered medical advice. It is simply here for education and entertainment purposes only. And it is up to you to talk to your healthcare professionals before following anything that I say. What are some ways that we can start to balance our blood sugars when we're feeling they're getting out of whack? Well, we have a couple different options. The first one, and I find to be one of the more important ones, there's two that I find to be very important on here. First one, you need to know your body's signs and symptoms that you are on the edge of a low or a high blood sugar. You know when it's coming on, you just need to pay attention and then therefore intervene if you're finding it to dip too low or go too high. You could eat your meals spaced out. Maybe aim for no more than 4 to 5 hours between meals. Eat a minimally processed, balanced diet. You could try increasing your intake of non-starchy, fiber-rich fruits and vegetables and whole grains. You could eat plenty of high-quality protein and healthy fats. You could try exercising regularly and aiming for 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night. You could increase your water intake. And the other one that I find to be very important on this list, keep your stress levels in check. This might be an unpopular opinion, but I'm going to share it anyway. It is nobody else's job to make sure you're not stressed. It is nobody else's job around you to walk on eggshells when you're feeling stressed out. It is up to you to take responsibility for your stress levels. Change your surroundings if you need to. Go for a walk. We can't keep blaming our spouses, our kids, our pets for our shitty moods. It's up to us to do something about them and take control of our attitudes. Now, that last one was maybe a little bit of a tangent and just simply my opinion, but there is definitely some truth to it. Just feel that out for yourself. Now, some other things that we could do, we could consume apple cider vinegar, and we could lean on plant allies that are known to help regulate and balance blood sugars. This would include turmeric, green tea, garlic, bladderwrack, ginkgo, gotu kola, aloe vera, holy basil, ginseng, and like we're going to be using in our infusion today, fenugreek, cinnamon, and ginger. Now, I did recently do a video on a infused holy basil vinegar. You could definitely just use that to help balance your blood sugar, but I just thought I'd give us another option. Now, I am going to have that video linked in the description box below, so you can go check that out if you want. Some other things that you're going to find in there is a full written blog article that does accompany this video, where I do go into more detail, as well as some links on where you can find some of these products for yourself, and you can make this for you or your family. So let's talk about the specific plant allies that I'm going to be using that's going in our infused vinegar today. So our first one is fenugreek seeds. Now, in TCM, fenugreek is considered to be a phlegm mover. So what that means is it helps break up stuck energy and it can help cool inflammation within your body. And it also helps decrease bad cholesterol while increasing good cholesterol. It has some carminative properties, helping with gas, bloating, cramping, indigestion, heartburn, and even acid reflux. It works as a lymphagogue, helping to clear and promote drainage of your whole lymphatic system. It helps protect the mucous membranes of your body. And it contains iron, which helps the body process in the process of blood formation. It contains vitamin B and phosphorus, and that has a special affinity for your nervous system. Fenugreek is high in fiber, which helps slow glucose absorption. And it helps stimulate the hormone insulin, which is going to help your body get sugar out of your bloodstream and into your cells so it can use it for energy. Now, those are some pretty helpful health benefits, but with that are coming some contraindications. So you're going to want to avoid fenugreek if you have allergies to peanuts, chickpeas, or other legumes. And you're definitely going to want to avoid it if you know that you have some liver problems or liver pathologies going on. And lastly, if you are nursing, you're going to want to just be aware that this works as a galactagogue. And that just means that it can increase your breast milk production. Just something to look into. It isn't necessarily a contraindication, but it might not be something that you're looking to do if you are nursing a child. And finally, the ruling planet of fenugreek is Mercury. Okay, so that was our first ingredient. Next, I want to talk a little bit about cinnamon. Now, cinnamon can help stimulate the digestive metabolism, and it can help with cold and sluggish digestion. It can also help with the digestion of fats. It works as a circulatory stimulant, helping with cold extremities and fluid accumulation. And it has some antimicrobial properties that can help with different forms of dysbiosis, or in other words, an imbalanced microbiome. And this could actually include candida. And it also helps with the glucose activity, which can help lower blood sugar levels and keep long-term glucose levels in check. Now, it is contraindicated as it is another galactagogue, just something to be aware of. So I probably would not use these two if you were in the process of maybe weaning a child. Okay. Again, just something to be aware of. And the ruling planet of cinnamon is the sun. And the final ingredient to go in our recipe is ginger root. Now, ginger root has some carminative properties to it, and it also works as a circulatory stimulant. And it also works as an inflammation modulator with a specific affinity for the musculoskeletal system, helping to encourage a healthy inflammation response by supporting the blood supply and helping to clear congestion and reduce fluid retention. And it also works as an antiemetic, which means that it can help combat nausea and vomiting. Now, it is contraindicated if you do have peptic ulcers, and it is considered to be an emmenagogue, which just means that it has the ability to stimulate menses. So this might be something that you would want to avoid in pregnancy. Okay? Definitely talk to your doctor to make sure that this is something that would be safe for you to add. And lastly, the ruling planet of ginger is the sun. So to make this vinegar infusion today, super simple. So what you're going to need, we're going to grab a jar, right? So to that, we are going to add 1/4 of a cup of our fenugreek seeds. And you are going to need a 2-inch piece of ginger. Before I started recording, I just peeled about a 2-inch little knob and just kind of sliced it in these thin slices like this. And that is going to go in there as well. And then you're going to add 2 to 3 cinnamon sticks. So I just have these short ones and I'm putting Well, five, but this one's kind of small. Okay. And I really like the taste of cinnamon. So if it ends up being a little bit too strong, I am completely okay with that. So I'm not quite sure if I actually did mention this or not, but your jar, you're going to want to sanitize it before you start. So that just means I like to do the oven method. So I just throw it in a 220-degree oven for 20 minutes and it's good to go. So once you have your plant allies in your jar, you are just going to add your apple cider vinegar. Now, it is very important that you do make sure that your apple cider vinegar has the mother. In that other video that I had mentioned about the infused holy basil vinegar, I kind of went into a bit more detail about what I mean by that. So I'll just get you to check that out if you're not quite sure what the mother is. So all you would need to do is just put in enough vinegar so that everything is completely covered. All right. Actually, no, I thought I could get it all to fit, but I don't think so. So on top of that, you're going to want to grab a piece of wax paper or parchment paper because you don't want any of the vinegar to end up corroding anything on your lid, potentially breaking it down, and then it just falls into your vinegar later, and nobody really wants that. So you would just put wax paper, parchment paper, put your lid on, and you're good to go. So you want to give this a nice shake every day. Make sure everything is nicely infused. You are also going to want to put a label on exactly what your vinegar contains. Sometimes I like to just write it honestly on the wax paper over here. I just actually wrote a little label out before I started, so I thought I would use that. So in 2 weeks, this is going to be ready for you to consume and help you with any blood sugar issues that you may be experiencing that you're finding you want a little bit of balance with. All right. So once your 2 weeks is going to be up, I will show you how you're going to strain it. So if you've watched my videos, you'll see this is my preferred straining method. It is just two of these little mesh strainers that I've lined with cheesecloth, and the amount of cheesecloth I'm using really just depends on what it is I'm trying to strain. So you are going to, this was our holy basil vinegar actually. I like to just give it a last shake, make sure that nothing is stuck to the bottom, and you're just, there we go. Sometimes I wonder who closes my jars because the person who opens them isn't always as strong. So, okay, we're just going to just put this through the strainer. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. I really like the smell of holy basil. Yeah. What there's specific herbs that you really, really like the smell of so that you just find ways to incorporate them, or just me? Because holy basil is one of those that I like to just kind of add whenever I can. So make sure that that is all good. You're going to want to just throw this in the compost because there's really not much else that we're going to be able to do with it. Okay. So then I actually like to repurpose things when I can. So I believe this was like a soy sauce or something. So I just like to reuse the jar and we will just pour this in here. Almost all fit. All right. So yeah, so that is just how easily and actually just how nicely you can store your vinegar when it is done infusing. So the dosage of our blood balancing vinegar, before I forget to tell you, is 1 to 2 teaspoons. And you're going to want to put that in water and have it before every meal. All right. So when you are drinking anything that has apple cider vinegar in it, or any vinegar really, you're going to want to make sure that you're using a straw. And this is because the vinegar has the potential to really run havoc on your tooth enamel. Okay. And that's not something we want. This vinegar is going to have a shelf life of 6 months, and you can just store it in the refrigerator. Now, one more thing that I do want to mention, if you are diabetic or you're wanting to give this to somebody who is diabetic, they have their diagnosis, you're going to want to make sure that they're using this formulation under the guidance of a healthcare professional. Okay, because these herbs may definitely interfere with blood glucose regulation, and that's not something that we're going to want. All right, so that's how simple it is to make your own blood sugar balancing vinegar. So why don't you go ahead and hit that like button if you like this video, and maybe share it with anyone else who you think might enjoy it. Consider subscribing to the channel so that we can spend more time together and you don't miss future videos. You can also find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest, so be sure to connect with me over there as well. I really just want to thank you for stopping by today, and I'll see you next time.